Imagine this, you're just a child, and your parents are putting you on a plane to a foreign country all alone. They hug you tight, tears streaming down their faces, promising you'll see them soon. But you don't know when soon will be. This isn't a scene from a movie. It was the heartbreaking reality for over 14,000 Cuban children during the early 1960s. This is the story of Operation Peter Pan, one of the largest child exoduses in history. It all started in 1960, just after Fidel Castro's revolution took power in Cuba. Fear and uncertainty swept across the island. Rumors began to circulate, whispers that the new communist government was planning to take children away from their parents and send them to Soviet-style indoctrination camps. This terrifying prospect, known as the Patria Potestad rumor, caused widespread panic among Cuban families. They felt they had to make an impossible choice: keep their children with them under a regime they feared, or send them away to safety to the United States. This is where a clandestine and controversial operation began to take shape. The Catholic Church in Miami, led by a young and compassionate Irish priest named Monsignor Brian Walsh, became the central figure. Alarmed by the plight of Cuban families, he worked to create a program to receive these unaccompanied children. He secured funding and support, not just from charitable organizations, but also from the US government. Behind the scenes, the CIA was also involved, viewing the operation as a way to destabilize the Castro regime by fueling the exodus and creating an anti-communist narrative. They helped spread the rumors and facilitated the logistics, turning a humanitarian effort into a tool of the Cold War. For the parents, the decision was agonizing. They went to incredible lengths to get their children out. They needed a visa waiver, a document that was incredibly hard to obtain. Secret networks were formed, often involving the church, to get these precious papers into the right hands. The scene at Havana's José Martí International Airport became a daily ritual of heartbreak. Mothers and fathers would dress their children in their best clothes, pinning notes with names and contact information to their jackets. They'd whisper last-minute words of love and encouragement, trying to be strong for their kids while their own worlds were falling apart. The children, some as young as 4 or 5, clutched their one small suitcase, often filled with photos and small mementos, their only link to the life they were leaving behind. They were told they were going on an adventure to a place like Disneyland, but the fear and confusion in their parents' eyes told a different story. The flight from Havana to Miami was short, just under an hour, but for these children, it was a journey into the unknown. When they landed, they were met by social workers and volunteers from the Catholic Welfare Bureau. They were now Peter Pan children, named after the boy who flew to Neverland. But this was no fantasy. The first stop was a temporary processing center, often a crowded and chaotic place like Camp Meticumb in southern Florida. Here, they were given food, a change of clothes, and a medical checkup. They were surrounded by other kids, all speaking Spanish, all sharing the same bewildered look. The initial shock was often cushioned by the sheer number of other children in the same boat. But this temporary community soon dissolved. The children were scattered across the United States, sent to live in foster homes, orphanages, and boarding schools in over 35 states. A small number were lucky enough to be placed with relatives who had already fled Cuba. For the vast majority, however, they were sent to live with complete strangers. They were suddenly plunged into a world where they didn't speak the language, understand the culture, or know a single soul. Imagine being a 10-year-old used to the warm Cuban sun and the constant chatter of a large family, suddenly finding yourself in a quiet suburban home in Minnesota, in the middle of winter, unable to ask for a glass of water or explain that you're scared. The loneliness was profound. Letters from their parents were their lifeline, but mail was slow and often censored. Phone calls were a rare and expensive luxury. The children missed everything: the taste of their mother's cooking, the sound of their father's voice, the simple comfort of their own bed. They had to adapt quickly, learning English, getting used to new foods, new schools, and new family dynamics. Many foster families were kind and well-intentioned, but the cultural gap was immense. Other children weren't so lucky and ended up in institutions or with families that were neglectful or abusive, adding another layer of trauma to their separation. They carried a heavy emotional burden. Many felt a sense of guilt, wondering if they had done something wrong to be sent away. They worried constantly about the parents they had left behind. They were forced to grow up too fast, becoming responsible for themselves in a way no child should have to be. They became resilient out of necessity, but the scars of that separation ran deep. They were caught between two worlds, no longer fully Cuban, but not entirely American either. They lived a dual existence, their days filled with American life, their nights filled with dreams and memories of a home they desperately missed. For most, the separation that was supposed to last only a few months stretched into years. The 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis shut down all flights between the US and Cuba, severing the last fragile link. Parents and children were now completely cut off from each other. Hope for a quick reunion faded, replaced by a long, uncertain wait. It wasn't until the Freedom Flights began in 1965 that many families were finally able to start the slow process of reunification. But the reunions weren't always the joyful fairy tale endings the children had imagined. The small child who left Cuba was now a teenager who spoke English better than Spanish. The parents they remembered had aged, worn down by years of hardship and separation. They were essentially strangers, needing to rebuild their relationships from scratch. The trauma of the separation had changed them all. The family unit had been broken and couldn't always be perfectly pieced back together. Today, the Peter Pan children are adults, many of them grandparents. They are doctors, lawyers, artists, and business owners who have contributed immensely to American society. But the legacy of Operation Peter Pan is complex and lives on within them. Their stories are a powerful testament to the sacrifices parents will make for their children and the incredible resilience of the human spirit. They are also a stark reminder of the human cost of political conflict, where children become the silent, innocent victims. Their journey wasn't to a magical Neverland, but through a real-life ordeal that shaped them forever. Their story of loss, adaptation, and survival is a vital part of American and Cuban history that should never be forgotten. Thank you for watching. If you found this story moving, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more historical deep dives. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.